don't like that approach. What you really want to do is have something in your model at the top level, like a top level validate method, and have a flag that says, am I valid or am I not valid? Anytime this is changed, you rerun your validation and just mark things as valid or invalid. And usually I'll keep like a list of, here's the errors I currently have. And the user interface can then go back to the model and say, what are the current errors, and display it. And are you valid or not? And based on that, the user interface may let you continue on to somewhere else or might force you to stay where you are. But then you can also highlight fields red if there's any errors for them. So you may want to have a map that keeps track of, here are the errors for a given field, and key that by some kind of a field key. Usually what I'd do is have like the property name. So you'd have like the property name priority as your key, and then a list of errors. The errors might just be strings. They might be more complex objects to keep track of the errors, something like that. But one of the things early in Java that they did is they added this idea in called vetoable changes. So you could add a listener. They called them constrained properties. You could add a listener that said, before I actually set this, instead of using property change support, you had vetoable change support. So you'd fire a vetoable change just before the value was set here, and the listener had a chance to throw an exception and actually stop the change. The problem is you never got to see what the bad value was. That gets lost in the process because you're not setting it. So I'd much rather just have a flag saying I'm invalid, revalidate every time I change, and then outsiders can check, are you valid or not, with the appropriate messages. Make some sense? Yeah, validation is not an easy thing to get right. It can be very, very tricky, especially when you have